Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. Large crowds continue to flock to St. Peter's Basilica on the eve of Pope Francis's funeral. Final preparations are in place with heads of states and monarchs expected to attend Saturday's event at St. Peter's Square. The 9 days of mourning will be marked with masses that will commence tomorrow until May 4th. Let's get on point with a student of Canon Law at the Pontificia Universita della Croce in Rome, Father Derick Vergara. Father Derick, thank you so much for your time. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Ms. Pinky Webb, and to all our listeners and watchers at your program.
Father Derick, first of all, tell us more about yourself. We'd like to get to know you better and those watching us tonight.
Thank you for asking. I'm Father Derick James Vergara from the Diocese of Malolos. I am a priest from the province of Bulacan, and I am now currently studying Canon Law here in Rome at the University of the Holy Cross.
What made you want to study or go to Rome and study Canon Law?
First, it was not me who decided to go to Rome. It was my bishop who asked me to study Canon Law after being ordained in the year 2021. So he asked me if I could study Canon Law in order to help the diocese put up its own tribunal when I finished my studies here.
That's why you still look quite young.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Father, so how long have you been in Rome?
I've been here in Rome for 2 years and 7 months already, and I intend to finish my studies come June or July, and hopefully to go back to the Philippines by September.
And are you excited to come back home?
Yes, of course. Very much excited.
Father Derick, tell us your experience there in Rome and possibly any personal encounters with Pope Francis.
Yes, my first encounter, Miss Pinky, with Pope Francis when I was still, when I was still a seminarian, when he visited Philippines way back 2015. And I could still remember I traveled and I went there to Taft Avenue, waiting for the Pope to come out of the Apostolic Nunciature. I've waited for almost 2 hours or 3 hours then, and then that's the first time when I saw him, and it was a God experience for me, seeing the Pope for the first time in my entire life. And the second one is a close encounter with the Pope last November, because we had this course on the Roman Rota, that is a tribunal here in Rome, tribunal of the church here in Rome. And after our course there, we had the privilege to have a close encounter or a private audience with the Pope. And then when I attended that private audience, I was able to speak to the Pope some words. I asked him, Holy Father, I am Father Derick. I'm asking you to please pray for me and to please pray for my father, my mother, and my brother, and to bless these rosaries I have in my hands, and I will give this to my parents. And then he said, yes. He said, certainly, and then he blessed the rosaries. So for me, that is the first and last close encounter with Pope Francis, and I will cherish it for the rest of my life.
You were not able to tell him that you had waited outside the Apostolic Nunciature?
No,
Back
because
in
I
2015.
have not that I do not have the time to tell that much, because other people are also waiting to have a conversation with the Pope.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a little embarrassing to kind of keep a longer conversation because there are other people waiting. Father, how would you describe Pope Francis?
Pope Francis, when I encountered him closely and personally last November, I would describe him as a man of humility, plain and simple. No, I do not need to explain that much because the world knows how Pope Francis embodied simplicity and humility all throughout his life. Especially, it was highlighted during his papacy. He did not live in the apostolic palace. Instead, he preferred to live in the Casa Santa Marta, that is a small, that is an apartment, no, reserved for the cardinal electors during conclave. But he preferred to stay there because I think he wanted to live a normal life, no, when he is off the camera, or if he is not, no, seen in public. And then we know it very well that he wished to have a simple burial and a simple tomb in the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore without any ornaments, no, only the inscription, a marble inscription, and on that inscribed the name Franciscus.
Tell us about how you would describe Pope Francis's leadership among, maybe in the Catholic community, and even among priests. What kind of inspiration, or what kind of a pope was he to you, to other priests?
For me, Pope Francis has been a true shepherd. No, when I say true shepherd, he knows almost he knows his sheep. No, he knows what longings they have. He knows what needs they need. No, and I think for Pope Francis, it is very much important for him to always listen to his flock. No, and we know that he he attempted, no, to introduce the synod on synodality, which involved, no, many people, not only the bishops, not only the cardinals, but also the lay people and the religious, no, in order to discuss, no, the necessary things that the church needs to attend to in this present time. That for me is a kind of leadership that is based on listening, and at the same time based on walking together, because as what I have said, he knows very well his sheep or his flock.
And that kind of inspiration that he's had to many people, I guess, Father, in terms of serving the poor, listening to their needs, serving the marginalized, washing the feet, and even going to, the prison in Rome. I think he was able to do that Holy Thursday prior to his passing. How can we keep that kind of simplicity and that kind of devotion that Pope Francis had done in the past 12 years to us and to other people in the future?
Yes, I think Pope Francis has been an inspiration, a model of simplicity, a model of being a good shepherd, of being a good fellow citizen of this world for all of us. But definitely, Pope Francis is imitating Jesus Christ himself. And he wanted us not to focus ourselves to him, but he wanted us to draw closer to Jesus Christ himself. So I think Pope Francis is just making himself an instrument for all of us, no, an instrument to show how humility works in our present day of life. But ultimately, his goal is to bring us closer to Jesus Christ and for us to imitate Jesus Christ himself.
And was he successful in doing that, to draw us closer to Jesus Christ? Because when you said that a while ago, and maybe to those who are watching us, that might really come in as, I guess in a way really affect us when you said that to imitate Jesus Christ, to be, I guess, like Jesus Christ, because to many, that's as close as anyone can get to Jesus.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think Pope Francis would always, would always teach us, no, would always let us experience how Jesus cared for us, how Jesus has been showing His forgiveness, how Jesus Christ has been loving us, no, through the words and the actions of Pope Francis. I think that is one of his characteristics. No, he does not only listen, he does not only speak, but Pope Francis is able to transcribe, no, to transfer into action what he is preaching and what he is saying too.
Father, have you had the chance to attend the Pope's wake?
Yes, I had the privilege to attend the wake of the Pope twice. First last Tuesday, and then the last one is last night. I waited in line for almost 4 hours
And
just to enter into the.
why did you decide to go twice?
Because for me, no, Pope Francis has been an inspiration, no, as a priest for me, and I would always look up to him as a father. And I think just he showed us how to become a member of the family. For us, he let us experience that we are one family. And now that he is dead, no, just like a father, now ama, no, and as a son, no, as a son priest, no, and I'm giving that respect to him, no, by going to the basilica twice in order to pray for him and to pay my last respect for him.
Father, how are you even preparing yourself for tomorrow's funeral?
I'm preparing first spiritually because this is my first time also to attend a funeral of the reigning pontiff, and I know that this is a experience, no, a once in a lifetime experience for me. But more importantly, no, I am preparing because I am praying for the eternal repose of the soul of Holy Father Francis. And tomorrow, we are planning to leave the Collegio Filippino at around 4 a.m., as early as 4 a.m., in order to go to the St. Peter's Basilica.
Would you be able to tell us, Father, from St. Peter's going to his final resting place in St. Mary Major Basilica? I know that's about 4 kilometers or about 2.5 miles away. Um, I'm assuming that will be a procession from St. Peter's Basilica to his final resting place.
Yes, according to his wish, he wished to be buried at the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore, but as to the arrangement and manner, how he will be transferred from St. Peter's Basilica going to the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore, we do not have the information yet about that. But
I see.
the Vatican has announced that the burial of Pope Francis inside the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore will be a private one. So I think it will be reserved to the cardinals or to the bishops or to the members of the pontifical household and to the family members if he has family members who will be attending his funeral.
And Father Derick, is it true that I was reading, trying to read more about Pope Francis, and in one of my readings, it was actually saying that each and every time he leaves abroad, to go abroad, and every time he comes back to Rome, he always passes by the Santa Maria Maggiore. Would you know if that's true?
Yes, it's true. And according to his spiritual testament, the document released by the Vatican last Monday regarding the last wishes of Pope Francis regarding his funeral and burial, he mentioned that in that document that we know very well that he would always go to that sanctuary, to that basilica whenever he goes onto the trip and goes back from that trip in order to entrust his intentions, the intentions of the people who will be served by him, no? And his last wish is to be buried there because that is a show of great devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary, and that will be his last stop.
And I guess
He will he will be
to
buried in
actually
peace.
end this interview with you, Father, there was also something I read. It's his autobiography. Basically, he said that the Vatican is the home of my final service, not my eternity. That's according
Yes,
to Pope Francis.
that's
Father
true.
Derick Vergara, student of Canon Law at the Pontificia Universita della Santa Croce in Rome. Thank you so much for your time, Father.
Thank you very much, Miss Pinky.
We'll be taking a very short break. When we return, I'll speak with another Filipino student priest in Rome, Father Earl Valdez. Stay tuned. This is On Point. Welcome back. You're still watching On Point. Thousands of Catholic faithful have paid their last respects to Pope Francis before he's laid to rest tomorrow at Rome's Basilica of Saint Mary Major. Joining us now via Zoom is a student priest at Pontificio Collegio Filippino or Philippine Pontifical College in Rome, Father Earl Valdez. Father Earl, good to have you. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Evening, Pinky, to you and to all our viewers out there. No, kami dito, we're still at noon, just having eaten lunch, in fact. No.
Yeah, you're about. I think we're about 6 or 7 hours advanced, as
Yeah,
opposed
6
to
hours.
6 hours compared to Rome. Father Earl, just quickly tell us more about yourself as well.
So yeah, I'm a student of philosophy, earning my licentiate degree and eventually for a doctorate degree here at the Pontifical Gregorian University, which is run by the Jesuits. And then here, actually, the Pontifical Filipino College, or in its Italian, Pontificio Collegio Filippino, is where we student priests reside. No? So this is more of a boarding house
I
for
see.
us. And we study in different universities.
And then you just all stay there, basically as your boarding house, so to speak.
We have a community here
I
of
see.
priests,
Uh,
Filipino priests.
How many Filipino priests are there?
We are about 55, around 53 to 55 Filipino priests, but we also have a bit of non-Filipino priests who are staying here. So they get to also taste the Filipino way of life here, no, while we all study in different universities around Rome.
Father Earl, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle led the rosary for Pope Francis at the Saint Mary Major Basilica in Rome, where, of course, the Pope will be buried tomorrow. Can you tell us more about this and why it was Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle that led the rosary there?
I believe that coming from the schedule that the College of Cardinals have provided for in preparation for the burial of Pope Francis, which in turn will commence what we call the Novem Diales, no, the 9 days of mourning. The the assignments for the leading of prayers and masses have been distributed to members, or at least technically former members of the Curia, since their terms of office end upon the death of the Pope. So I think it was Cardinal Chito who was scheduled to be on that day, and I think it is the third or fourth day of praying the Rosary last night. No, it's the third. No, the first being at St. Peter's Basilica, and then they transferred it to Santa Maria Maggiore, and Cardinal Chito was the one who was assigned there.
And the rosary there at Santa Maria Maggiore happens every evening.
Yes, every night at around 8 or 9 p.m. And one of the members of the Curia is assigned to lead the faithful in prayer.
I want to talk about the liturgical rite of sealing of the coffin of Pope Francis that will take place tonight, supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken. Father, please correct me if I'm wrong. That takes place
will be
tonight
at
in Rome.
8 in the evening here in Rome, and 2:00 in the 2:00 in the morning in Manila.
You know, in the past days, there's always been an extension of the hours wherein the devotees were allowed to pay their final respects because there's just too many of them there. Do you think that, 8 p.m. again is going to happen anytime, soon, in a couple of hours, probably 5 to 6 hours. What happens after that?
As according to the press release of the Vatican media, around 6 o'clock today, the lines will already be blocked. So from where you are, if you are not on that designated spot where they will block it, so we can only view it from afar, at least in the piazza. I'm not sure if they're going to open the LED screens for it. And then after the line has been spent from that point on, the rite will commence at around 8 p.m. It was not like the previous days in which they opted to extend because there was just too many people, more people outside than inside actually. So I think during Wednesday night, I was there during Wednesday night, and yesterday, the lines actually, or the visitations for the public viewing actually stopped at around 1:30 in the morning already.
Were you able to go 2 times?
Yeah, I was able to go twice. The first one was during Wednesday night. No, after my language classes, I headed straight to the Basilica di San Pietro and paid my respects. However, I was not able to enter in both instances because of the lines. No, so I only had a brief opportunity to glance upon the remains of Pope Francis from afar.
I see.
But that has always been, in both of these instances, have been many meaningful and prayerful instances for me.
And tell us how the Pope has actually influenced or touched your life.
With my priesthood beginning in the papacy of Pope Francis, I was ordained in the year 2021. What struck me most, although I've had a prior encounter with the Pope when I was assigned to attend a pre-synodal conference for young people in Rome back in 2018. I think he is a good reminder of what it means for us to be Christians, no? Not just priests, not just lay people, pero as Christians, people who bring Christ in the smallest ways and means possible, beyond even conventions, beyond even protocols, And in fact, what I see in the Holy Father is that he is the one who creates protocols that even break our common conceptions of what it means to be a leader of the church, what it means to be a man who is ordained and has dedicated his life to the Lord. And with the many things that he is very curious and eager to see, that he's very passionate about, we see that those things actually can be directed to glorifying God even at a greater scale, at an unimaginable scale, I should say.
Pope Francis, to many, has actually brought down, I guess, or took away that distance of a pope that is obviously highly revered, admired, and loved. But he somehow brought us closer to him because, I guess, of the many things he's done. And again, because of how he's always been described, humble and simple. And again, even other people who would say this about him. He is the closest to how we would imagine or know Jesus Christ to be. What do you think of that?
Well, I think if we set Christ as a standard, I want certainly, But I think the Pope has really done his best. He comes and that is not a kind of protocol for him, something that is external. No, that is who he is, as he is. Na even behind closed doors, even when the cameras are not looking, people have many testimonies of who he is actually. So I think that is a good standard as well for us, to set upon. If Christ proves to be too difficult a standard for us, then a stepping stone would be to see the figure of Pope Francis. And I guess that is also the reason why many Filipinos have this kind of affinity to
Right.
Pope Francis, apart and outside from the papal visit even. No? Those who were not able to go there had that same connection with him. That kind of simplicity,
Yeah.
a holiness that is very, very material and earthly, no? That will lead you in fact to the spiritual, what lead you in fact to higher values and virtues. Sa mga simpleng bagay, in fact. No? And I think those gestures inspire us to be better Christians because it shows us that it is possible.
And even in death, he has actually proven
Yeah.
that. When you were saying that it's just not evident when the camera is on, it's also evident
Yeah.
when the camera is off. And even till his death and his burial, all he's asking for is a simple burial. We understand that, there's so much, tradition and so much that is done during the burial. Now he says, none of the structure, catafalque that actually raises Pope Francis. He talks about, there's this ceremony of entombment of 3 coffins made of cypress, lead, and oak, and he does not want this as part of his burial.
Yeah. Well, if we are going to look at it from a historical perspective, that those 3 layers of coffins, in fact, have served a practical purpose during its time, in which, it was conceived in a time in which we do not have any stronger means to preserve the body for a few days just for the public viewing. But now he sees that there is also some sort of change that needs to be done and has to be simpler. As part of, the changing times that we have, the technology that we have. So I guess he opts for that, no? And it's even simpler with, I think it's a layer of zinc inside the wood coffin. No? So yeah, I think this is not just a sign of simplicity, but more importantly also of being practical
In touch.
with things.
Yeah, with modern times. Father, as a last
Yeah.
question, what is your prayer for Pope Francis and his successor?
Well, I think for Pope Francis would be to the prayers that I will ask for, on our behalf would be to give us the grace to be open to the movement of the Spirit as he was. No? People do not understand this more often than they do. No? That in fact the church moves along the Spirit and continues to listen, continues also to walk with people of different lives, of a variety of experiences, and we hope that this is more explicit. That is the prayer that I am asking for us who are still here, and to whomever the successor is. I hope and pray that he will have that same openness that Pope Francis has, and to be daring enough to walk where the Lord wills the church to be, or to be headed towards.
Thank you so much, Father Earl Valdez, student priest at the Philippine Pontifical College. Father, thank you.
Thank you as well, Pinky.
And that's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you. See you on Monday. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.